Hey HTDA, and today I wanted to share a little bit more of Empires of the Undergrowth with you guys because, well, honestly, I've just been having so much fun with it. Now, as I said in my first impressions, it's a strategy game and it's an RTS basically where you play with ants. And it actually works really well. It also has quite a lot of content in there, so there's a story mode, which I'll be showing you in a moment. There's also options to make your own custom games or play custom battle maps and scenarios and things like that all are actually pretty interesting as well, but the story itself is actually also really great. Now, the story mode itself doesn't seem to have a lot of levels, but this is actually kind of misleading because honestly you want to play the levels several times. It's actually really fun to do so. Most of the levels don't take that long to play. I am not going to show you the first few levels, mostly because they're very simple, very straightforward, and I'd rather skip to some of the more interesting stuff. Now, as you can see, well, you can't actually see, but I have already finished all of these 6 levels over here. However, we're going to be playing them in terms of the challenge mode, with the challenge mode turned on, that is. You still get rewards from doing that, and you actually do want to get those additional rewards, because this allows you to build up your home base, which is the one I have over here. Which you are going to be needing in order to complete these gateway missions, as they are called, which are basically just tests of your home base where you can put giant, enormous amounts of ants against certain challenges that you will have. And it always feels like when you're playing with your home base that you have such a strong base, and then you play these missions and you turn that, you actually find out really fast that you're going to need a lot more ants. So replaying these levels is definitely worth it. So we're going to be jumping in level 2.1, which is the Rising Tide, which will put us on the beach and will us have foraging outside of our own colony in order to survive. And there's also going to be things like knights and water, and well, you'll just have to see when we play it. In this level we also get pick between mortar ants and rapid fire ants. The mortar ants are basically doing AoE damage, where the rapid fire ants are doing exactly that. They are rapidly firing, just with a little bit less damage. Now actually I did play with the mortar ants the first time around, so I'm just going to try the rapid fire ants now. The ranged units are going to be super useful in this level, so either way it's going to be just fine. Now there's also going to be a little bit of narration going on at the start of the game and also during the game. I'll try not to talk through it. It's not always predictable when it will happen, but it will definitely happen a little bit at the start. So I'll just keep quiet, start some building. Once the narrator is done, I'll actually explain what I'm doing.
This Formica rufa wood ant queen has laid her first brood in a burrow near the sea. Her nest is just on the outskirts of the beach, the perfect vantage point for scavenging hapless morsels washed in by the tide. At the moment, the tide is out, but it won't stay that way. The ants must make haste and stockpile what they can, while they can. Unfortunately for this colony, the Queen's choice of home could not have been worse. This stretch of beach is peppered with burrowed tiger beetle larvae. They lie, jaws primed, with only their armored heads visible from the sand. Anything that stumbles into their pit is speared and dragged below.
Okay, so I think the narrator is done. So what I'm doing over here is I'm collecting some food over here that you can see on the map as well. So these green things on the map is food. The exclamation marks are enemies, so we do need to be a little bit careful about what we're actually doing. And then I'm building these brooding areas where our new larvae are going to be hatched. So over here, for example, you can see the larvae are hatching and we're getting some new workers. I'm also making a little zone over here where we're going to be making some arranged units, assuming we have enough food. Doesn't look like we do, so we are going to be excavating the way to the outside. And we can actually allocate these different units to groups, so that is actually very useful, so we can make sure they are going where we need them to go.
There is food to be found all over the beach, but the wood ants must be cautious and choose their trails carefully. Tiger beetles frequent the higher ground, and they will make quick work of any wood ant that strays too close.
Okay, so we can send our units outside now. They will automatically start collecting the food they find, but as you can see, all those red things on the map are enemies, so we do need to be careful that we don't get ourselves killed in the process. We do need a little bit more food storage area, and I like putting the storage units in front of my exit, just so the collecting from the outside is going to be as efficient as we can make it. Now, the yellow ants that I'm selecting over here are actually the ranged versions. The green one over here are soldier ants, which are basically melee units. We're going to want a mix of both, but for the moment We are probably going to go for like 5 of these soldier ants just to have a little bit of a tank going on, and then we're going to mainly focus on getting the ranged units in place. Now, I actually already collected all the food we have available over here, so now we're just going to rush in. I'm actually going to disable the fighting and the mounting, so they're just going to grab the food and then get the hell out of there again. So they are not going to be too much getting in the way of the enemy beetles. We actually don't have that much food close by, so we'll have to collect that from a little bit further away as well. Now, there are some enemies roaming this particular area, as you can see. So hopefully we can stay far enough away so that we don't get into contact too much.
Here. They have also come to take advantage of the buffet.
We also have some ants attacking us, so we can counterattack them.
Will invariably favor the colony with the greater numbers.
There we go, that's one dead ant. And another one. Now we can just turn the combat off again. And make sure these guys just focus on grabbing some food. Ooh, this one is going to... Yep.
The ants have been spotted by Chichindala,
and as you can see, they do a lot of damage.
The northern dune tiger beetle. With its long, slender legs, it's the king of speed on these intertidal flats. Its wide, carving jaws will slice effortlessly through squads of wood ants. It's going to take a monumental unified effort to bring this beast down.
Okay, once again, we're just going to rush in and grab some food and then get the hell out. I'm not actually interested in fighting these other ants. I just want to get the food so we can start growing our army. Let's get some more of these ranged units. You do typically want to make sure you have the areas enclosed in like a circle like that, because we can actually upgrade our units as well. Now in this particular case, I don't think we're actually going to focus too much on upgrading our units. We're just going to be building more of them. It's kind of a choice between getting more units or getting better units, because the price of that is actually the same. But of course, depending on what you're actually fighting, one or the other might be better. In this case, I actually like just spreading out my units and getting a lot of them. And if we lose a couple of these ants now and then... Ooh, we're not supposed to fight, guys. Whoopsie. Yeah, they're just going to get murdered now. Yep. That's a shame. But I think we got more food than it cost to actually get all of that stuff out of there. We have all the easily accessible food now, so I'm actually going to focus on getting some food.
Soon the lower levels of the beach will be flooded. Any ants caught in the surge will be washed out to sea.
I was going to say, we're actually going to focus on getting some food from the actual base itself. The tide is coming in, so this means the water is going to be rising up. And all of these areas will be sitting underwater pretty soon. While that is happening, we'll actually be attacked during the night as well, as you will see in a moment. But digging out this whole area underground is actually really cool as well, because that will show us the enemies we have over here, and we shouldn't have too much trouble taking them out, I believe.
Predators are loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected.
There we go. They actually do have HP, so if you press Alt, you can actually see the HP on the enemy units.
The colony is starving.
There we go.
There is not enough food.
No problem taking them out whatsoever. Wasn't actually intending to dig those out, but that will work. Oh, let's actually fight them though. Turning this fighting on and off every now and then does get me into trouble, as you could see. So, something you definitely need to be aware of. Luckily, we have access to a whole lot more food now.
There are intruders in the nest.
These are actually some of the larger, more dangerous enemies, so I'm not entirely sure this was the wisest thing.
The nest are about to be completely flooded.
So every time you lose a unit, it does respawn, but it does cost a little bit of food. So you never want to completely use all of your food, because that will not allow you to get any more units and replace them. However, it feels like we should be fairly fine here. We have a huge amount of food here. So at least that is convenient. Actually going to split up my units for a moment, because we also have some food just sitting here. And the tide has completely risen.
And soon night will fall. As the temperature drops outside, nocturnal creatures begin to awaken. It would be wise for the roofer colony to stay underground, and hope that their nest remains hidden until the morning.
Spoiler alert, it probably will not be hidden. However, that's not really a problem, because we do have a pretty sizable colony going on now. we got all the food from over here, so let's...
Overground, nocturnal hermit crabs rule over the sands at night. These creatures are typically scavengers, searching for algae and carrion on the beach. But due to the unusual incursion of Formica rufa colonies into this area, this particular community of crabs has developed a taste for ant flesh.
We should get some nightly visitors pretty soon, maybe that
A
one?
hermit crab has found its way into the nest. The ants must mount a swift and
it was already
decisive
here.
defense.
Shouldn't be too much of an issue, as you can see. Alright, so now we've taken that one out. Let's start working on some of the zones over here. There's actually some stray ants here, and I think the narrator said at the beginning that we actually took over this colony from another set of ants. Yeah, the ant was actually I think the old queen was here dead. That was where we got our initial food, so it's quite nice in terms of the story. Maybe not quite nice in terms of the actual what happened, but you get what I mean. Now the really nice thing about these ranged units is they can actually attack more easily, especially if you have a small amount of
Predators
targets.
are loose in the nest.
You can see that it's easily
The
to
larvae
get
must be protected.
too many people in the same corridor, which basically doesn't allow the enemies to attack or myself to attack, so we're kind of
colony is
just tanking
starving.
here.
There's not enough food to feed the new brood.
But the ranged units have a easier time actually reaching the enemy, so just having a bunch of those should provide us with some literal firepower.
A group of hermit crabs have stormed the nest. The larvae must be protected.
And here you can see the huge amount of attacks that are going on. Should make pretty short work of these crabs.
The tide is receding and a new day dawns. The hunters of the night return to the safety of the shadows, and the ants can begin to lay down new trails. The harvest must go on.
Okay, so we're actually going to rush outside and see if we can grab some of this food up north. Just before the enemy ants arrive. Maybe that we were already too slow.
A dead sardine has been washed up on the beach. This feast is too precious to pass up, but the smell will soon attract other scavengers. The ants will need to amass in great numbers to defend such a prize.
An ant has fallen victim to a beetle larva trap. They must watch their step. The voracious predators are difficult to see and lightning fast.
So we can upgrade some of the food storage by doing this. And then we're definitely going to have to spend some food as well. So let's just get some more of these ranged units. There we go. Okay. So let's make sure we have the workers added to the mix as well. Now, which zone are we going for? Probably the one over here. Banzai! That's a lot of ants. Should mean we can grab a lot of food before we lose too many units.
The beetle larvae hiding in their burrows are eating well. Every ant lost to them diminishes the colony.
Sure, every ant that gets food, however, gives us, well, food. I think we got all of the food there. Well, most of it.
More ants have been
Except for
caught
the-
by
except
tiger
for the
beetle
stuff that was
larvae
killed.
lying in wait.
But as you can see, we did actually get quite a bit of food there, even including the food that we needed to repair our units. So, all in all, that was a plus there. Now, the beetles do get in the way quite a bit. However, we might be able to sneak past and grab the food over here. Okay, Banzai.
The battle has begun.
And retreat. Again, we lost quite a few ants in there, but we also gained a lot of food. So, all in all, I think we should be getting ahead there. Let's actually build some more workers, because these are the most replaceable. And, well, we can easily replace them and just send them in to grab some food. If they die, they die. If they, like, we survive at a 5-to-1 ratio or something like that, we should be coming ahead, assuming they are all carrying some food. Let's see. Now, what is next? We do actually have quite a bit of food in our base as well. So let's make use of that.
Predators are loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected. The tide is coming in. Soon the lower levels of the beach will be flooded. Any ants caught in the surge will be washed out to sea.
Aw, just
Predators
a single
are
one.
loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected. The tide has almost reached its highest point. The sands east of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
So there's a tiny little bit of food actually sitting over here. You can see from the darker spots on the map where the food is. Might as well go and grab that. Is that all? Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so let's move our way back down again. We're running a pretty decently sized army by now. It's not a very strong army. We didn't upgrade anything. So I'm actually thinking at this point it might make sense to start upgrading some of the range stands, just because we can. 50 of them should be more than enough.
Roaming the sands tonight. Arctosa parita, the sand bear wolf spider. In the day, these spiders retreat to the shade provided by larger plants on the edge of the beach. But once the sun has gone, they are far more active and on the hunt for a midnight feast.
So we have spiders coming into the nest now. I hope you're not afraid of spiders, but if you are, don't worry, we're going to be killing them. There it is.
A wolf spider has found the nest entrance. She is only small, but her venom will quickly incapacitate any ant that tries to fight alone.
Now this time around during the night we don't actually have that much to do, because well, going outside into all of these creatures roaming here is definitely not worth the casualties we're going to be taking. So we're just going to sit back and relax in the back of our base.
More wolf spiders have found the nest.
Well, more spiders this time around, but don't think it should be much of a problem. Our randomly straying workers are getting killed one by one though, so that's not really ideal, but I think that covered all the spiders we had. Oh, actually I didn't. There's still one left. Let's go kill that one too.
As the sun rises over a new day, the tide recedes. The nocturnal creatures return to the shadows, and once again, the harvest must continue.
Okay, let's go rush some of this food. No fighting allowed.
An ant has fallen victim to a beetle lava trap. They must watch their step. The voracious predators are difficult to see and lightning fast.
So a lot of these larva traps I should say now. We are losing quite a few units. Let's see if we can kill a couple.
More ants have been caught by tiger beetle larvae, lying in wait.
Almost. Nope. Sending them back and forth. There we go. Should be able to take them out now. This one at least. It's a bit of hit and run tactics, but it works. Let's build some more ants while we're at it, because we're not actually collecting any food at this rate. Okay, so that is at least clearing the way. Now the real question is, do I need to clear the way in any other direction?
An ant has fallen victim to a beetle lava trap. They must watch their step. The voracious predators are difficult to see and lightning fast.
And that's that one down as well, okay. I think we're going to go with our usual don't attack tactics and just rush in, grab the food and get out.
More ants have been caught by tiger beetle larvae, lying in wait.
Honestly, at this point, I'm not entirely sure if it makes sense to grab any more. We do have a fair amount of food available there. Okay, we're going into our last night, and we do have a pretty nicely upgraded army, so I think we should be fine. Might as well make sure everyone is dedicated to doing some sort of defense or offense. The nice thing about upgrading these ants is that once you actually get them to level 12, they do get a special ability. In the case of our ranged ants, it actually gives them a slowdown, so it actually makes the enemy attack slower once they hit it. So having a couple of these ants at 3rd level will make sure that they actually get benefit from that upgrade. And well, we have how many ants now? We have somewhere like 110, 120 ants. As you can see, it's crawling around pretty badly. All we need to do now is just wait for the night to start and then hopefully win the level as a result of that.
The tide is in, and soon night will fall. A wolf spider has found a nest.
That's a lot of spiders.
The ants must protect the queen.
Now, to get a feel for how you're doing in terms of defense, as long as you don't lose out on too much food after an attack, I think we're actually ending with more food than we started. Yeah, we are. Yeah, you're doing pretty well. We might actually want to upgrade a few units, just because otherwise we won't be able to store all of this food. Hello.
More hermit crabs have found the nest.
That's a lot of crabs. Still, I think we're doing just fine thanks to our billion ranged units working like intended. Actually, let's make sure our workers aren't fighting, because that's not really that productive. And we should be able to get some food back from these crabs as well. We can eat them. It's not that much, but again, we're ending the fight with more food than we started with, so let's see. Maybe a few upgrades here and there.
A huge wolf spider has found the colony.
That's
This
a
one
really
is a
big
mother,
spider.
And her recently hatched brood have followed her into the nest. These ants are
And a lot
facing
of
an
small spiders.
overwhelming infestation.
Not much of a challenge, it seems. Some random spiders still out here, so let's make sure we help our brood. There we go.
As the ants grow in number, the local predators pose less and less of a danger. Eventually they will be displaced from this area entirely. Despite the dangers of the beach, it seems this intrepid queen's gamble to establish her colony here has ultimately secured her success.
There we go, guys. So challenge mode on the 3rd level successfully completed. Now you can actually pick what you want in terms of some little extra rewards. I think it's almost always worth going for the royal jelly, because that actually allows you to upgrade units in your main base. The food is also pretty nice, and the space in the territory is really not any of an issue if you complete a couple of levels. So it's basically between food and jelly, and well, I like upgrading my units, so that's it. Now there are a couple of achievements that might actually entice you to play the level a couple more times. For example, work with what you've got over here requires you to beat the level on challenge mode without building additional workers. Honestly, I think that's actually not that hard. You can just build the other units instead and use them to collect your food. But for example, this one, Ambush the Ambusher, actually requires you to eliminate 50 tiger beetles, which is pretty much all of them, I think, on the map. And well, this actually also requires you to play on impossible while doing that. So that's one step up in terms of difficulty compared to what I was playing on. So definitely a challenge, definitely an achievement in the actual sense of the word to get it. But it's definitely something that rewards you for becoming better at the game, for those of you that like that. So the food that we just won is actually dropped into the home base. This is basically just an ant farm being kind of abused by scientists, honestly. And you can use that food to grow yourself a giant army. And as you can see, you have some different types of ants available as well. You can upgrade those ants as well, depending on, of course, which levels you completed, because completing certain levels will unlock certain ants. And then you can start upgrading them here as well. So all in all, it's a pretty nice system. You use the jelly in order to unlock those new ants. You get the food, which you need to actually build your base. And then you combine all of that to do the gateway missions that are really, really, really hard. So don't just think that you're building this base because it's fun. It's not a sandbox or anything like that. You are actually going to have to beat these challenges, which are really, really hard. I'm going to show you that in one of the next episodes. But for now, I think we'll be continuing with the next challenge mode in the next episode. If you're still here, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.